Welcome to This Might Be Personal, Episode 1. I'm at peace with it. We walked inside the Sacramento airport after checking our bags and sat along the large windows in the chairs where all of the other people who needed wheelchair help were sitting. The boys were sitting next to me while Adam ran to an ATM to get some cash, and a lady with long silver hair turned to look at me through round glasses. Her eyes were soft and blue, and she asked me, "Were you here for a vacation?" I normally don't talk to people in airports and share a lot of our personal business, but I am such a proud mom that I couldn't help myself. "No, we were actually here for a karate tournament," I tell her. "A what?" she says. "A karate tournament. Both of my boys are on a karate team back home, and they compete in it." "Oh, that's brilliant," she says. "I've known a few people during my life who did things like taekwondo, but I never knew that there were karate tournaments. Did they win?" Both boys smile and nod. It's a little bit more complicated to explain the difference between winning because you learned something and winning because you got first place. So we leave it at they won. As we're sitting there, Adam comes running back and he hands me the cash that he's gathered from the ATM. It's not too long before one of the people working for the airline comes up and sees that there's 3 of us waiting for a wheelchair. Now, I should probably explain here why a young mother needs a wheelchair. Back in August of 2025, I suffered from a stroke. It sounds wild to say that at 37 years old, I had a stroke, but I did, and it dramatically impacted my life. For 3 months, I was going to rehab. I was learning to speak the way I speak now. I was doing physical therapy, and I had to do occupational therapy even to get my grip strength back. I had to practice typing. I had to work with putty. I had to learn to write my signature over again. And I can tell you, it was so hard to not feel defeated so many times. But it's one of the things that I am so proud that I was able to overcome. And as a result of going through all of that, I learned that I needed to be such an advocate to make sure that I got all of the care I needed. Because one of the things that was trickiest in all of this was we didn't know what caused my stroke. And that will be another story because, oh boy, was it a roller coaster. But long story short, I recently had heart repair surgery. We found out that there was a hole in my heart which caused the stroke, which meant that I needed to have that hole repaired. So I was sitting along with 2 other women who were waiting for wheelchairs. Now, the Sacramento airport isn't huge, but that kind of wear on your heart 1.5 weeks after a heart surgery is a pretty big deal. And we're listening as one of the people from the airline explains, well, you have a couple options. You can choose to walk, or we can arrange to make sure that you guys are taken in enough time to get to your airline. I am so sorry for the delay. It's just we don't have enough people working. All 3 of us were fine. We had all gotten to the airport in enough time. But what that meant was that we had longer conversations with each other. Conversations that I didn't really expect. The woman with the long silver hair was, of course, curious about what I just explained, about why such a young, healthy young person would be in need of a wheelchair. I explained, and she was so apologetic to me, telling me how brave I am to have gone through that. She explained to me how she has a friend who has just gone through a stroke and how that poor woman is actually living in a rehab facility. She can't be on her own. And when she was talking to me, she said, "But you know what? You have really pushed to be back to who you were before, I can tell. And that's a blessing to your children. And I can see how hard you have worked because truthfully, you wouldn't be able to speak as eloquently as you do now. You wouldn't have all of these things put back together the way you do now. And you wouldn't be doing all of the efforts that you're doing now. She goes, I have seen the way a stroke can debilitate somebody. And to put in the efforts you did to make sure that you even got the medical care you needed was a really huge deal. I thanked her. That recognition meant a lot, especially from a stranger who I hadn't given all of the details to. And then I watched her rubbing her back. I watched her sitting very uncomfortably, and I didn't ask what was going on. But a few moments later, we began talking more about our travels, and I asked her if she was vacationing. And she explained to me that this indeed would be her last flight. It would be her last trip. She had stage 4 cancer. It was terminal, and she knew that she was on the brink of death. My immediate response was to say, I'm sorry. And her immediate response was to say, don't be. I'm at peace with it. This woman was one of the kindest people I've ever met, and I can't stop thinking about her. She was so much more concerned with me getting to the flight on time, that I was comfortable, that I had what I needed. Every single time that she and I bumped into each other, she was making sure that I was getting access to every possible tool I could have to ensure that I had a safe and healthy flight. And when I would sit near her, I would overhear her telling other people around her what a hero and what kinds of heroic feats I went through to be surviving the way I was today. And I sat and I thought about how much anger I had held for so long because I was dealing with little pieces of aftermath from my stroke. And I wondered, how could I be so angry when I have so much life ahead of myself? How could I be so angry when I have beautiful children who are doing tremendous things, who have so much life ahead of themselves, when I have such a wonderful husband who supports me through and through? How could I be looking through such tainted lenses when I have received the care that I have needed to know that I will move forward in a way that is actually going to be much safer for me? I will not have as high of a risk of stroke, and I am going to be more set up for success to live a longer, healthier life. How could I have been so angry when the cards I have been dealt have been so fortunate? I have been blessed and I am so lucky. How could I have been so angry when other people are suffering so much more than I am? I keep thinking about that woman, her kindness, the way she spoke to me, the way she looked out for me. I keep thinking about her and those words, I'm at peace with it. I keep thinking about her and wondering how she is, hoping that she's okay, hoping that she doesn't have any pain right now, hoping that she's happy no matter what the circumstances right now. And every time I think about her, I think about how selfish I felt to be angry. But then I think about how there must have been a reason for me to meet her. And I think about all of the processing that I've had to go through with all of this medical stuff I've been dealing with. And I've realized that after that conversation, there was a new sense of calm that came over me. Medical things, they're all just medical things. And as long as there is a path ahead, I'm just fine. So, did I have something unfortunate happen last year? Did it take a lot of effort and work to get through? Absolutely. Did I struggle a lot? 100%. But you know what? I'm at peace with it.